Lights up on Washington Heights, up at the break of day. I wake up and I got this little punk I gotta chase away.
My name is Elise Santora. I am playing the role of Abuela Claudia. I am Puerto Rican, Cuban, and I am the first generation American, born in the Bronx, New York, so that makes me New Yorican plus Cuban. To tell you about her would be to say, I feel like she's my grandmother. I think she is the eternal grandmother. I've met many people at the stage door after a show, and they've been very moved because what they find themselves being moved by is the familiarity of who that person is. The abuela is the center of the Latino culture in many ways. She's the soft center, she's the hard center, she's the center of support, she's the safe harbor for many people. And so they're moved and they see that and they're honored by the representation of it. So that's who she is. That's who she is. And when I play her with some of my own grandmother involved. I'm excited about the fact that there will be access to the rest of the country for what has been going on Broadway for now almost 2 years, which is this a cultural amalgam and multi-generational exposure of music from Latin tradition to reggaeton and hip-hop to a beautiful story of literally 3 families, because if you think about it, it's the salon and Grandma Usnavi and Sonny, and the neighborhood is a family. And there are places, Tommy Kail, our director, has mentioned that there are places in the country that aren't familiar with New York at all, let alone the community of Washington Heights. So it'll be also a great introduction to the rest of the country of what that community is about. I feel like it's fait accompli. What I mean by that is that I've been in the business a really long time. Back in the day, we were the 1 or 2 in the room, bidding for roles that were very few and far between for a Latino, and sometimes not getting the Latino role. So all pre-Latino explosion time. So there wasn't an opportunity to really define the culture within our art form because there were so few of us, or there were many of us, but we just weren't getting the exposure. So to get the exposure now, finally, after so many decades of being in the business, is an exciting, full circle, beautiful thing for me. It's a gift for me, because I've been at it a long time. So this is an absolute joy. Nina is going through it and singing the song Everything I Know. And the line in the song that gets me every single time is she says, Abuela Claudia didn't really know how to read or write. She would just look at the homework that she was making Nina do and say, tell me everything you know. I feel like that is such a moment of tenderness and family, and someone who has gone through their own struggle and somehow managed to maintain their integrity for whatever lack of education Abuela Claudia felt she had, but passing on the love for education to someone else, and and then all this created family, because they weren't actually family. All of those things tied up in that one moment is the moment for me. 2 things, overdue and essential. It's overdue because myself growing up, there were arts in the schools, but that's only if you had your kids going to private school. And the situation has only deteriorated since then. So now what this does is give access to kids who ordinarily wouldn't have any kind of exposure, let alone training, And then once you give them access, what that does is it franchises them. It makes the children feel like they are part of a theatrical community. Broadway isn't this thing they've heard of. You know, theater isn't sort of this thing that I went to once because my school took me. It all of a sudden becomes this thing that they can be a part of, and whether they become a professional artist or not, they get to be with professionals in the room, which is what, you know, R.Evolución Latina does. Puts them in the room with people who actually do the thing. It also teaches them that teachers are these amazing people that are doing the thing. My mission as an artist is to provide access to maybe an alternative dream, an alternative story, a different way of seeing things, and move you. I just want to move you. There's nothing more fulfilling. And that's what theater is so great about. That's what's great about this tour, is that we're going to get to go to many places and move many people that wouldn't ordinarily have this particular experience. There's a lot of advice given to kids, especially when it comes to, you know, find your passion. That's a really hard thing to do. You know, it's like, how do you get up in the morning and go find your passion? What that really means is listen or pay attention to what it is that you can't stop thinking about from the minute you get up in the morning to the moment you go to bed at night. Pay attention to that. And then as soon as you start to see what that is, if it's singing, if it's dancing, if it's art, if it's math, then do that 24/7. Because what it does is it will pay you back. My name is Elise Santora, and I dare to go beyond.
Floods in the just when you think you're sick of living here, the memory floods in the second day I'm home. Where it's 100 in the shade, but with patience and faith we remain unafraid. I'm home. You hear that music in